Have you realized that people actually do not confess the sin of lying? They confess the sin of fornication, they confess the sin of adultery, because a lot of emphasis are laid on those 5 dangers of telling lies. Now, I've realized that a lot of people, when you preach about fornication, when you preach about adultery, especially women, they get really very emotional and they are happy because, that's an avenue, that's a medium to send a message to someone who is unfaithful towards them. But I've come also to realize that there is an habit that is very dangerous that a lot of Christians do not take seriously. And that is the habit of telling lies. So I'm going to enumerate 5 dangers of telling lies. 1, after a long time, you have the habit of telling lies. It's going to become part of your personality. It's going to become part of your habit. And sometimes you just do them spontaneously. You just tell lies. It becomes a normal thing to you. It doesn't bother you because it has become part of your personality, part of your character traits. Number 2, lying is a sign that there is a hidden agenda, a hidden dangerous agenda that someone has towards you. When someone tells lies to you, it means that the person is hiding something from you that may cause you harm or that may put you in harm's way. Telling a partner lies or telling a friend, someone that you're in a relationship with, lies, is like you postponing the person's doomsday. It's like postponing the person's assassination, because what you're trying to do is to romance the person, keep the person unaware of when the danger is going to come. That's one of the disadvantages about telling lies. Lying also deprives you of opportunities that may come your way, because when you lie and you have a habit of telling lies, some people would have recommended you based on the lying personality that you have. Behind you, some persons would need recommendations. The person who is trying to recommend you would say, well, I cannot guarantee. Well, I know him, but he's not trustworthy. So when such recommendations are made about you, it is as easy as destroying all that may come to you as opportunities. Another danger about telling lies is that everyone around you knows that you're a liar. Everyone around you knows that you have penchant for telling lies, except you. Because every time they point at a certain situation where it is obvious that you are telling lies, you argue about it. And so at some point in time in your relationship with them, they just go quiet. They discuss you outside. They put lying as part of your character traits. When they want to make references, they say, oh, that lady that tells lies. Oh, that guy that tells lies. Except you. So everyone knows that you have penchant for telling lies, except you. That is how dangerous it is when you have the habit of telling lies. I've realized that a lot of churches do not preach against lying the way they preach against fornication and adultery. I've realized that a lot of people, when they even tell lies, they do not feel remorse, because to them, lying is almost part of the activities of the day. Lying has little or no mention in churches because almost everyone is guilty of it. People do not confess if they tell lies to a friend, if they cheat a friend, if they defraud a friend. They do not confess it. They do not go to God in remorse and say, oh, I have sinned. Can you forgive me? But when they commit adultery, when they commit fornication, they quickly go and say, oh, Lord, I have sinned. So you realize that 99% of people that will not make heaven, it is not because they committed adultery. They were living in the habit of telling lies and never confessed such sin. According to the book of Revelation chapter 21 verse 8, but as for the cowardly, the faithless, the polluted, the murderers, the fornicators, the sorcerers, the idolaters, and all liars, their place will be in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. And the Bible concluded that verse by saying, and all liars, emphasis on all liars. We've taken lie as an everyday activity, something that everyone does. As a matter of fact, some people who do not commit adultery, who do not commit fornication, who actually observe some sanctimonious lifestyle, the reason why they will go to hell is because they have the habit of telling lies and they never confessed it. The most dangerous consequences of telling lies is that you may keep all the commandments, but because you never confess the sin of lying, it may make you miss heaven. Have you also realized that a lot of pastors do not emphasize, especially pastors who focus on holiness preaching. A lot of them do not emphasize on the sin of lying. They emphasize on the sin of adultery. They emphasize on the sin of idolatry. They emphasize on the sin of fornication. But they mention little or nothing about the sin of lying. And you would also bear witness with me that lying has become part of our communication. Some of you, with your phone, you have told 1 million lies in one day. Some of you, when people come to your house to visit you, it is easier for you to just tell your child or your son, go and tell them I am not around. Meanwhile, you are around. A lot of us have told lies with our phones, and we are never remorse because we feel it's a sin that has little or no emphasis on. But the Bible concluded all of those sins, that all liars shall have their parts in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone.